Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I hope the audio is with me today. This is a spontaneous video. This is, you'll never believe what we found in the attic video. And these books are headed straight to Goodwill or somebody, but I just thought I would show them to you first. These are books you've probably never seen before. You might be interested in checking out. They're probably up there on Amazon somewheres or in your libraries. So you might want to check these out. So these are books that uh, fantasy, sci-fi books that you probably have never seen before. And welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kairos, Tina. This is where you read books and talk about books. I've had such an influx of books lately. I need to declutter a little bit. So Piers Anthony and Robert E. Margoff, The Serpent's Silver. If you watched my Star Trek Next Generation recap episode, Ship in a Bottle, I did another about 12 books, sci-fi books in that one, so you might want to check out the beginning of that one. Round deer there surely be born a strong, raised to be free, fighting dragons in his youth, leading armies. Nothing loth, riding his cousins of sword, joining two, then uniting four, until seven there be only one, and then his task will be done. Okay? Piers Anthony, Juxtaposition. Book 3. Style had problem, two whole worlds of problems. In fact, on Proton, a world of future science, his murder was averted only by the help of a lovely robot who sent him through an invisible curtain to Phase, an alternative world ruled by magic. There he found he was the double of the sorcerer, the Blue Adept, who had been mysteriously murdered, and the assassin was after Style. To survive, Style had to master magic, fight dragon, win the friendship of a lady unicorn, locate his enemy among the paranoid adepts, and return at a Phase to win the great games on Proton. After that, he was ready to face the real problems. Oh, look. And there's a map in here. "1982. Pirates of Thunder." Jack L. Chalker. Hawks had refused to help the ambitious Lazo Chen in his quest to find the 5 golden rings that could break Master System hold over humankind, and that refusal had landed them on a deadly prison planet, Melkor. But when Hawk and some fellow prisoners engineered a bold escape, it seemed almost too easy. Hawks guessed that Chen was pulling the strings, but he couldn't shake the feeling that there was another greater power involved, and that scared him. 1987. Oh, a lady we know. Carol Nelson Douglas. I'm sure you've seen her books or read her books. Irissa, last of the Torrells, sorceress, had been betrayed by the Raintree Gate that was supposed to lead her to Haven world of her vanished people. The hand of Kendrick, companion and swordsman of Rule, had been torn from her grasp. Then the gate had rejected her into this strange world where a cold moon hung forever unmoving in the sky. Now she was a prisoner of the stone keeper Saffron. Around her encircled the pale walls of her cell, filled with half-seen reflections of herself. She was helpless, all her power drained into the other world self-images, and this time there was no Kendrick to save her. He was a swordless exile in Rhine, stranded among the unkempt women and the runner outlaws from the magic stone keepers. Ah. I am freezing. And let's see. 1984. Piers Anthony and Robert E. Margoff, Dragon's Gold. I could have used these in my Dragon If Then. If you haven't seen my Dragon If Then, check it out. Round deer there shall surely be, born to be strong, raised to be free, fighting dragons in his youth, leading armies. When Kevlin was a child, his mother read to him from the book of prophecy, and he asked what the poem meant. Now he was about to learn. The kingdom of rude languages under the heel of an usurper. An evil sorcerer has taken the throne in the name of his wicked daughter. Even deep in the forest, away from all power, the people tremble and await the day of the prophecy's fulfillment. It cannot come too soon. Charlene and her children are soon to lose their home to the tax collector, but Kevlin and John have other plans. They have found a dragon territory where scales of the purest gold, shed by the dragon, lie free on the ground for anyone with courage or sincere innocence to take. 1987. Dinosaur Tales. America's permanent master of the fantastic brings to life those marvelous beasts of prehistory in masterful work, including A Sound of Thunder, the tale of a deadly time travel safari, The Foghorn, a creature from the deep, and its strange rendezvous with a lighthouse Tyrannosaurus Rex, about a movie monster maker's macabre revenge, A New Green Town, story written just for volume, plus a new Bradbury Gohan Wilson collaboration, An Ode to Dancing Dinosaurs. Picture. 1983. The Blue Hawk. Peter Dixon. Right? Yep. Tron, a novice priest, spent his entire life in blind obedience to the major priest who observed the gods of the sun, moon, and air. On the day of the ritual consecration of the king, however, Tron is Goat Boy allowed for one day to act on any impulse. But who could have imagined Tron had heard it, the silent command of the air god, and he obeyed incredibly. He had stolen the sacred Blue Hawk and doomed the only ruler he ever known to death, and damned himself to eternal exile. But in the wilderness, in an abandoned temple of sinister secrets, Tron slowly trained the extraordinary Blue Hawk, and within this bird as his sole companion, he embarked on a seamlessly inevitable journey toward death. So in an opulent coffin filled with myriad treasures, Tron entered a terrifying unknown land to learn the intrigues of gods, the follies of men, and the soaring magic of love and freedom. 1976. Ken Follett. The Madrigallian Scandal. A little-known Follett published pseudonymously in England before its author gained his international fame. A famously lost masterpiece and instant fame and fortune that came with it. The Players, a beautiful art historian who would do anything to get there first. An angry young partner with a plan for revenge on the art established, and a desperate gallery owner who may have double-crossed his own life away. Death of King Arthur. The story begins with a round table sadly depleted its numbers after the quest of the Holy Grail, and sick at heart it goes on to tell of Lancelot's continuing adultery with Guinevere, and the arrival of the treacherous Mordred, and ends with the last battle of Salisbury, the death of Arthur and Lancelot, and the destruction of the kingdom of Logres. 1971. Jack L. Tucker, Demons of the Dancing Gods. In Hoxquar, the world of magic beyond the Sea of Dragons, the battle had been won, all seemed peaceful, but Throckmorton Ruddymore, Master Sorcerer, knew better. Far to the south, on the River of Dancing Gods, the Dark Banyan plotted with a demon prince to wage the final war that would bring about Armageddon. The Dark Baron had to be one of the other sorcerers on the Council of 13, but it the evil witch Esmeralda, the usurper Calden, or another of his peers? Oh, some map in there. 1984. The Warriors of the Storm, Jack L. Chalker. For centuries, Master System ruled mankind unchallenged. Then a small band of renegade commanded by the spaceship Thunder and fled into the pirate territory. Now they were prepared to seize the 5 coded rings that together could shut down Master System and return human destiny to human control. With them went the one variable that didn't figure in Master System's equations: Vulture, a shape changer capable of absorbing the body and memories of any other organic being. Without the information Vulture could collect, the rebels could never infiltrate the worlds where the rings were hidden. Each ring was better protected than the last, and as each ring drew the band further into Master System's web, Vulture became aware of possibly more indigenous danger. An unknown entity with the power to elude Master System seemed to be giving the rebels an unseen hand, but the question was, whose side was it on? 1987. Uh, Songs of the Dancing Gods, Jack L. Tucker. Back in Hasquin, the other world, after the brief sojourn on Earth, Joe expected to pick up his life and go on pretty much the same. He should have known better. To begin with, the evil Dark Baron had managed to escape and had teamed up in the north with the Master of the Dead. Alone, either was diseased, together they were potential catastrophe. As the Master Sorcerer Throckmorton P. Rudy Moore explained, Joe, of course, was supposed to do something about that. There was also some changes for which Joe wasn't prepared. He hasn't accepted the fact that his beloved Tina now had the body of an exotic dancer, but then he discovered that she was a slave with a growing slave mindset and would always be a slave. Oops. 1990. Gordon R. Dixon, The Dragon Knight. Sir James Eckert, now Baron de Bois de Malcontroy, woke one morning with the odd sensation that something was wrong, and it was. During the night, he had been transformed back into the shape of a dragon. Now Jim must embark on a new quest to learn to control his magical abilities and truly become the Dragon Knight. And once that is done, he'll learn that life in the Middle Ages carries some responsibility that he hadn't encountered on, especially when the heir to the throne of England is taken captive by the King of France. 1990. Jennifer Robertson, The Song of Haumea, Chronicles of the Ceruli. For 5 long years, the land of Haumea had been strangling in the grasp of usurper king, its people ravaged by the strife, poverty, and despair, its magical race, the Chasulian, forced to flee or face extermination at the hands of their evil counterparts. The sorcerer Lini. The time had come for Prince Carolean, Homer's rightful ruler, to return from exile. With his Shashuli shapeshifter liegeman, free his land from the evil dominance of the tyrant Belam and his villainous magicians, restore the Chelsea to their rightful position of grace, and claim his birthright. To do this, he would not only have to raise an army, but overcome the fear and prejudice of ignorant population, and answer the call of prophecy he never chose to serve. Map? 1985. Almost done. Venice of Dreams, Pamela Sargent. Share all the visionary excitement, adventure, and human drama of humanity's greatest undertaking. Join a courageous, dedicated family in its struggle to transform the hellish wilderness of Venus into a green and growing world. (1986). The Venus Project, the most ambitious endeavor in the history of human race to transform the hellish inferno of our sister world in space into a new home for our descendants. Samuel R. Delaney, Never Yonya? For prying a young girl fleeing her village on the back of a dragon, Neronia became a shining symbol just out of reach. It leads her to the exotic port city of Kalela, where she talks with the wealthy merchant Madame Kane, walks with Georgie the Liberator as he shames against the court of eagles, and crosses the bridges of lost desire in search of her destiny. Uh, 1983. Jack Talker, Mask of Martyrs. Even before the renegade pirates of the giant spaceship Thunder had collected all 5 of the rings that would eliminate the threat of Master System forever, Hawks knew that they still faced even greater problems. The shapeshifter Vulture had lost on watery planet of Chuka, his fate unknown. Master System space fleet dogged the renegades every step. Hawks suspected that the group was harboring a traitor, but he was powerless to act, and most important, the rebels had not yet figured out how the rings were used, to the riddle that seemed to have no solution. 1988. Jack L. Chandra, War of Maelstrom. The magic of the winds could alter the shape of every man and beast in Alcor. The evil of inner hells could take this power away from the Storm Princess and place it in the destruction hands of the horned demon, Kiltron. The savagery of ultimate war could be the only hope for all worlds. 1988. Jack L. Chandra, When the Change Winds Blow. She was plagued by demons and plagued by dreams, a dark dream of world beyond the time and space, of land and magic and mystery, but Charlie knew it was more than a dream, for her friend searched for her friend Sam shared her dreams. Suddenly they become reality as raging storm sweeps Charlie and Sam to fantastic land of Alshkar, where unicorns and griffins run free. An enchantress commands a den of unearthly pleasures, and a wizard warns of terrifying escapable event. 1987. Piers Anthony, a new Exaner Augur. Smash knew all about ogres. After all, despite his having a human mother, Smash was an ogre himself. Ogres were not only huge and horribly ugly as Smash was, they were also so stupid they could hardly speak, and they spent most of their time fighting, destroying, and eating young girls. So what was he doing here with 7 assorted females, looking to him to guide them and save them, even in Xanthus, where magic made everything possible? Why should Tandy the nymph trust him and seem fond of him? And how could all the high-flown conversation be coming out of his mouth? 'Does that look like Florida? Just saying. 1982. Piers Anthony, Centaur Asile. Isle. Dor was having trouble growing up to be the next magician king of the magic land of Xanath. He wanted no part of running the kingdom, but now God King Trent was leaving on trade mission to non-magical Macmodania, home of such weird beasts as horses and bears. So Dor had to take over as king for a week. As a week passes, no Trent, then 3 weeks, King Trent still hasn't returned. Surely something terrible had happened. He was apparently held captive in some foul dungeon, unable to escape. Dor was left with the burden of ruling, and with Irene, who was entirely too willing to be his queen. His only hope was to enter Maldania and free King Trent, but how could he do that? 1981. In the Shadow of a Rainbow, Robin Franklin Leslie. Greg was a young Indian who preferred the vast, unspoiled wilderness of British Columbia in the white man's civilization. Nahani was a great Silver the Wolf with a price over her head and a reputation for near incredible intelligence and strength. This is the true account of friendship that grew between these two living creatures, one man, one wolf. It is of the most extraordinary and beautiful stories ever written, a story that tells us much about the common bond between all living things. 1974. Drastic Dragon of Draco, Texas. Elizabeth Scarborough. I could have used these for my dragon episode. A dragon is terrorizing Texas, charring the landscape, tainting the water supply, gobbling up cattle, and generally making a nuisance of itself. But some overgrown desert reptile, mind you, but a real live fire-breathing dragon, and nobody from the rough and ready border town of Draco has the slightest idea how to stop it until a courageous young woman seeking fame and adventure in the Wild West discovers its astonishing secret. 1986. Shrek. Stephen Bruce. The Assassins. There are many ways for a young man with quick wits and quick sword to advance to the world. Val Teltos chose the route of the assassins. To the other qualifications, he added 2 things. The first was a smattering of witchcraft, badly throw of dragonia, but only a fool refuses such a weapon. The second was his constant companion, a young Jerrig, its leathery wings and poisonous teeth always at Valad's command. Its alien mind personically linked with his own. Violet had never regretted the sorcerer's bargain he made with his Derek's mother. I offer your egg long life and fresh red meat without a struggle, and I offer it my friendship. I ask for aid in my endeavors. I ask for its wisdom. I ask for its friendship. 1983. Ah, the Blue Sword. This history of Karlith, golden-eyed king of the free hill folk, son of the sons of Lady Erin, and this is the story of Harry Crew, the Homelander orphan girl, who became Hamrid's sole king rider and heir to the Blue Sword, Gorgorian that woman had wielded since the Lady Erin herself bore it in battle. 1982. And the last one. Dancers of Illusions. Science fiction novel of Anne Maxwell. The ship's computer has chosen, and now Reba, the fire dancer, and her brave mentor, Kern, must fulfill the next part of their ongoing mission to return a shipload of fellow slaves to their widely scattered home planets. Their current destination, Yrel, a world where reality is far too fleeting for anyone but a master illusionist to grasp. 1983. So those are books you probably have never seen before, never heard of, and will probably never see again. Oh, and don't forget to check out Flashback Monday and my Star Trek recaps yesterday and my If Then episode for Thanksgiving yesterday. And have a good day. I hope you enjoyed some of these books.